What's going on, everybody? Marc Farzetta here with the Farzy Show here at the Steven Singer Studios. Farzy Show is presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Little business out of the way first. For all you fine people watching and listening and all that stuff, PJ is off today. Producer Jim is off today. He needed a day off. So I'm running the show, folks. I'm pushing buttons. I'm spinning dials. I'm going to be doing all this stuff for you, to come to you. And also make sure that Jim gets a day off. But anyway, welcome in. We got a lot to get into. 76ers are about to undertake something they haven't undertaken in quite some time. Tom Moore will tell us all about that during his interview as he joins the show a little bit later today on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. We also have some baseball preview to get into with the Milwaukee Brewers coming to town. They're a very hot team right now, having won 4 in a row as they come to South Philadelphia to take on the Phillies. And we also have a little thing to get to when it comes to JJAW. That's right, JJ Arcega-Whiteside. What could he be up to? Moving to tight end. That's right. The second-round pick that's not named DK Metcalf is coming to Philly, staying in Philadelphia, but this time next season you will see him as a tight end. I say, why not? Absolutely, why not? But first, let me say this. I had a first-time experience yesterday. Just have to share with you because I put it out there on social media, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." I've never been to a Costco before, and let me just tell you, I didn't realize Costco was that popular amongst people. But oh my goodness, it's very popular amongst people. Have you guys ever been to one of these places before? We had a Sam's Club membership for like 20 minutes when I was a kid. And that was about it. I think what happened was, I think like the greatest sin my mom thinks is like wasting food, and I, she's right. So we would like buy all this stuff, and then we ended up like not eating it, and all this food and all this stuff. So like I guess that's why we stopped going to Sam's Club when we were kids. But I started dating my wife some years ago, and her family was all about Costco, and I'm like, what's the big deal? What's the whole thing? We had, during pandemic, we had ordered a bunch of stuff from Costco. My wife's a member. We had never gone. I had never been. Yesterday, I went to my first Costco, and oh my God, people, what I have been missing out. Now, hear me out, okay? Now, a lot of people were flooding in with the suggestions of things for Costco, what I needed to get. I had street tacos. Street tacos are amazing. I've had them from there. We bought a whole bunch of street tacos. Chicken wings in the air fryer. Oh, it's fantastic. All that stuff. Now I need a bigger refrigerator, and I think I need another kitchen. Not a bigger kitchen, another kitchen, and I might have to move. Because Costco is that amazing. My one suggestion with people that are big on Costco, here's my one suggestion. Lazy River. That's all I'm asking. Just give me a Lazy River in Costco. Somebody suggested to me on social media yesterday on Twitter that they need a cigar bar or they need some sort of humidor. And I'm like, you know what? Let's go in the Lazy River in Costco. Let's smoke some cigars as we go around and peruse, because you have no idea what you're doing. You're looking around, and you're blown away, especially if you're a first timer like me. I was amazed. And I see why now every time my in-laws would tell me something I was eating or using in their house, why every time I would say, this chicken pot pie is amazing. Costco. They always say it like that. Like, I always liken it to a magician pulling a rabbit out of the hat. Instead of saying, ta-da, it's Costco. It's like they just performed a magic trick. Hey, that mattress I slept on last night was really comfortable. Costco. It's like, hey, you look relaxed. Were you in the Lazy River? Costco. I'm just saying that's where it needs to go from here on out. I had a phenomenal experience. No, Costco is not a sponsor of this program, but I just have to tell you, I know that you guys look at it like it's some kind of religious experience, and then I finally go, and yeah, it was amazing. I'll say this. That guy at the front door, the guy that's checking the memberships, that guy means business, man. That guy means business. I didn't mess with that guy. I let my wife lead. Let my wife pushing Leo. Manuela was at school. She's pushing Leo. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, cute kid. Where's your card? The guy had a teardrop tattoo under his eye. No. But no, it was a wonderful experience. It really was. I have to say that now I am one of you. I've realized that a lot of people that follow me are Costco people. So there you go. I am one of you. I was amazed. I went for patio furniture, and then right next to the patio furniture was like bite-sized muffins. And I'm like, what? I want to sit on that furniture. I want just to eat all these muffins. They look delicious. So there you go. I'm one of you guys now. Now, there is something I want to tease for the people that watch the show every morning, the people that interact. When PJ's off, and it's happened before, it's been a while since we did a show without producer Jim. When PJ's off, I can push buttons. I can push buttons like this. John Cheeseborough, what's up, buddy? Good morning. That's right. Chat check coming up a little bit later. I'll be able to touch base with all you fine people. So there you go. John's checking in right there with good morning, Farzian Society. So I'll be pushing the buttons and spinning the dials and all that best fun stuff throughout the show today. So we'll be having some fun. All right. Let's start it off with the news that broke yesterday regarding your Philadelphia Eagles. Jeff McClain says, according to an NFL source, the Eagles plan on moving J.J. Arcega-Whiteside from wide receiver to tight end. Fine. They're trying to get as much as they can out of a second-round pick, and quite frankly, a guy that a lot of people look at as I said earlier, not DK Metcalf. And I understand it. I get it. No worries. They're trying to do whatever they can. I feel like, and I know a lot of people are already going the pessimistic route. Oh, he's so terrible at this, so they're trying to that. Well, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Thanks for the obvious. But let's think about this for a second. He's a big body guy at 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", all right? When he came out of Stanford, one of the things everyone looked at was how he is able to position his body, how he's able to be physical. Okay, that sounds more like a tight end anyway. Oh, and he happens to be pretty good on special teams? Oh, so he can block? He can get around blocks? Yeah, let me give him a shot. I feel like he's a guy that needs a reset button. But I think that too might be an obvious statement, but this might be the perfect way and perfect direction for him to go. He's a good athlete. He hasn't been a great wide receiver. Tight end might bump him down a little bit to rely more on his physicality. It might bump him down a little bit to think of it as a reset for himself. And it might give him the opportunity to play a role that he might be more comfortable or best suited in the NFL. Because you could get away with being a bigger body, slower wide receiver like you were in college. You could get away with that at the wide receiver position. In the pros, that might look a little bit more like a tight end. This isn't the first it's come up in conversation. This is just the first where it seems to be officially happening for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I've heard people over the last 3 years, talk about how maybe bumping him down to tight end because of his size and his lack of speed and the fact that he's actually a decent blocker, that might actually be a good thing for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So this is just, I think, a long time coming. I hope it works out for him, because if it works out for him, it works out for the Eagles. Why not? The negative side of this is, what do you need to know more about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? I mean, seriously, what do you need to know about this guy? You've had him for 3 years. You liked him enough to take him in that second round when there was some other wide receivers. Terry McLaurin was another name that was out there on the board. You like this guy enough to take him then, and hasn't worked out as a wide receiver. It's a last-ditch effort. Another way to put that would be how he just doesn't want to give up on a guy that he drafted so high. And how he doesn't want to give up on a guy that a lot of people told him from jump, what the hell are you doing? So that's what the negative side of this is. But being that as it may, as someone who would really like to see the Eagles win a lot of games, they're only going to do that if they got good players on the field. So I will root for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to be a pretty damn good tight end, at least a serviceable tight end, at least a better tight end than he would be wide receiver. And he didn't set the bar really high at the wide receiver spot, as we all know. So that's my take on the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside thing. I wish him nothing but success, blah, 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 blah. Let's get into this for a second here. I mentioned this earlier, and I didn't realize this. It's one of those things that's just, like, somebody tells you, and you go, oh, my God, yeah, that's right. Like, what else? What other sense would that make? And sure enough, our friend Tom Moore, who's going to join us a little bit later in the show, pointed this out, and we'll get into this during our interview. Sixers haven't swept a 7-game playoff series. 7-game playoff series since the 1985 Eastern Conference semifinals, when they handed the Bucks a 4-0 sweep during Charles Barkley's rookie season. What? Oh, my God. What? Okay. Let me take that in, digest it, let it bounce around a little bit. That's pathetic. I don't know what that is compared to like most other NBA teams. And one of the things Tom gets into in our conversation is when you look at this particular squad, the Sixers as a franchise, they make the playoffs a lot. Especially more recently, they have had long stretches of making the playoffs, consecutive seasons, and all that stuff. But they're just not big sweep. They're just not a big sweep franchise, I guess. I don't know how that compares to the rest of the NBA, but I know that a team that is supposed to be as competitive as they've supposed to have been over the years with guys like Charles Barkley going even earlier in the 80s and late 70s, guys like Dr. J and Moses Malone, Allen Iverson, of course, and now what we have with the 76ers. Even the Andre Iguodala 76ers made the playoffs a bunch. So for me, I was just shocked to hear that. But here we are. They have not swept a 7-game playoff series since Charles Barkley's rookie year. I think they complete the sweep. Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Got out of that party, by the way, that 2-year-old party. I don't have to go to that. Win for me. But because I will be home watching the game, obviously. But 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, I think they complete the sweep. We'll see what happens with Scotty Barnes, but regardless. The Raptors threw everything at the Sixers. And I feel like when you really unload on a team and you throw everything, including the kitchen sink and all the cliches that surround it, and that team never takes the lead in regulation, but ties it at the end of regulation to then force overtime, comes back from 17 points down, as we all know, loses one of their stars in James Harden, and they still win that game. I'll go back to it, as I said yesterday. It's the old Kobe Bryant line. It's the, I don't care how big your heart is, I'll cut your heart out. And that seems to be what the Sixers did. That's what I think the Sixers did by winning Game 3 in the style and fashion in which they did. Oh, Toronto was so hyped, baby. Bleep Embiid, bleep Embiid. We got into this a little bit yesterday. They were really into that game. Toronto was really into that game. Nick Nurse was really into that game. Pascal Siakam was into that game when he could be, when Tobias Harris wasn't D'ing him up as hard as he was yesterday or 2 days ago. They gave everything they had in that game. If you give everything you have and you lose in that fashion in front of your hometown crowd, I don't care how much your back's up against the wall in a Game 4. Oh, Game 4, it's eliminations, win or go home. They're even more motivated. Hey, look, if there's a higher gear for the Toronto Raptors to get to after what we saw throughout the first half of Game 3, then I will be amazed. I will absolutely be amazed. But I think after the Sixers came back the way they did, after they got Joel Embiid struggling in the first half, and then that amazing play that he made in overtime, really the amazing play he had throughout the entire second half of that game, if you're Toronto and you even go up 10 points early in this game, you're going to be thinking it's just a matter of time before there goes a push. I think the Sixers took their heart out and stomped on it after Game 3. So I think they wrap it up in Game 4. They possibly get a week off after that. And then this is an amazing thing. This is not me celebrating injury for the good people at home or for anyone else. I've noticed that some Denver fans have picked up. I've been watching the analytics of our show, and some Denver fans just like to watch, just to rip me for saying Joel Embiid should be MVP and not that Joker fella out there in Denver. So what are you going to do? But I've just been amazed by what we have been seeing from the 76ers squad. And when we look around the rest of the NBA, which is where me getting ripped comes in, I look at this squad as it is right now, and I say, okay, hold on. Now I look at the Bucks. And the Bucks, they just announced officially yesterday that Chris Middleton could be missing some time, at least the rest of this series with the Bulls, due to an MCL sprain, excuse me. So he's at least going to miss the rest of this series with the Bulls, which is wild. That series right now is at a game apiece. Excuse me. You look into the Western Conference, Devin Booker, grade 1 hamstring strain. Typically 2 to 3 weeks. Those are things that tend to linger. Look no further, and I know he's not as old, but look no further than our own boy, James Harden, and what he's doing here in Philadelphia. those things can linger. You're looking around the rest of the NBA. Dallas has had their issues with Luka Doncic, so we don't know what we're going to get from him in the NBA playoffs from this point on. But when you talk about the legit contending teams, the Bucks, the defending champions, they're a team that you look at and you go, okay, well, now Chris Middleton, see what happens there. And then Devin Booker out there, who, if you remember, when we had Kurt Helin on a week ago, Kurt Helin got into the idea that the Suns would win the championship. Well, they're not going to do that if Devin Booker is still dealing with a hamstring injury. So all I'm saying is that the rest of the playoff teams aren't looking as good as they once did. That's all I'm saying. Not celebrating injury, simply saying teams might not be as good because their better players are not feeling as good. Got me? Okay. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the Sixers, whether or not you think they finish it off in Game 4 and they go for the sweep. First sweep since Charles Barkley's rookie year. As for that crowd, we mentioned this yesterday, and I didn't get into it too much, but we mentioned this yesterday. Alaa Abdelnaby, a broadcaster extraordinaire, ambassador of the NBA to Egypt, in case you didn't know that. He was on social media. And we had talked about it yesterday about how he posted this picture. All right. Let's see if we get this up here. Posted this picture of him with his back to the crowd. Now, this guy, Trey, Sixers Trey, circled Alaa, turning around, staring down all of Canada as far as I'm concerned. And Alaa said, yes, I did. I had a view of 20,000 people, 20,000 mouths shut. I'm still floating. Well, Alaa outdid himself, ladies and gentlemen, by posting this as his new profile picture. Yes, hashtag new profile pic for Alaa Abdelnaby, staring down the crowd. Now, I circled him in red just so you guys could see him better. But Alaa, I applaud you. Got to get you back on the show in the not too distant future to talk about all the great things all the great things that you're posting on social media and the fun you're having while calling this series. And one thing I have to ask Alaa, and we will get him on again. One thing I have to ask him about is the fact that obviously a player in the league, knows the league very well. We all know. How is it that a coach nowadays, like Nick Nurse, just as an example, how is it that you can bitch and moan about the officiating, not get fined, and in fact rewarded? I know I talked about that a little bit yesterday, but I'm just curious. How does that happen all of a sudden? I know it's not just the fact that they were going home. He had bitched and moaned about the officiating, and then played another game, coached another game in Philadelphia, nothing. And then did it again, and then came to Toronto, came home, and same thing. And it looked as if, very much so, that the officials were favoring Nick Nurse and not calling fouls that would have either put the Sixers on the line or fouls that I thought were in the act of shooting. Excuse me, let me check that. Fouls that were in the act of shooting that they did not award foul shots to when it came to the Sixers. Oh, and I saw some Toronto fan bitching and moaning about that screen that Tobias Harris set. That's a fine screen. That's no issue whatsoever. So I don't know what that guy's talking about. If you didn't see that, it kind of went viral yesterday. But yeah. Not really a fan of that guy. Let me tell you about my man, Mike Seibert at Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com, presenting sponsor of the Farzy Show, destinationretirement.com. Check out my man, Mike Seibert. He is a retirement income certified professional at Destination Retirement, LLC, a partner of 1847 Financial, and an advisor for Eagles and Sixers and Phillies fans only maybe next year, even though they won yesterday. JVR ties Cam Atkinson, by the way, for team lead in goals, the 23. That's pretty nice. But the Flyers, they won yesterday, but maybe next year it'll help out some Flyers fans with their financial advice. But when it comes to long-term savings, why are you giving up current enjoyment of your income? The answer is to have income streams in retirement. It only makes sense then to understand how retirement income streams work so that you can direct savings in ways that give you the highest income when you retire. Think of it like climbing a mountain. Is the objective just to get to the top of the mountain? No, the objective is to get to the top and then safely back down so you can then tell everybody that you climbed the damn mountain. These two things are the different financial phases of your life. Each should be addressed separately. This month, let's talk about college planning. We all know that college is expensive, but have you thought about this? Have you thought about how it'll affect your retirement? Let Mike show you an efficient way to help pay for your college education for your kids. Still retire on your own terms at the same time. How about that? Your first step is to avoid starting, growth cycles over by depleting accounts like 529s for big expenses like college. You don't want to lose your position on your growth cycle and have to start over because you can't get that time back. Instead, set yourself up with the ability to use vehicles that you can take money out of without starting your growth cycle over again. Find out how your annual retirement savings can help your college savings and how your college savings can help your annual retirement savings. Michael, set up your own portal in Retirement Analyzer, then use the software to help you navigate through the different phases of your financial life. For questions or to set up a meeting with Mike, email him. How simple is this? Email him at gobirds@1847financial.com. That's gobirds at 1847financial.com, or call his office at 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035. That's 484-275-6035, or you can visit his website at destinationretirement.com. And as always, go Birds. Let me tell you about Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Mother's Day just around the corner. Remember when it was a hot day outside? Mom give you a creamsicle, cool off a little bit. So delicious. Well, how about this? The best gift for Mother's Day is always a gold dip rose from Steven Singer Jewelers, but this year's feature, a gold dip 24-karat rose. 24-karat gold dip rose from Steven Singer Jewelers, the creamsicle edition. It's just spectacular. Light peach petals. This thing is beautiful, preserved and guaranteed to last a lifetime. It's the sweetest way to tell Mom how much those little moments meant to you as a kid. Mother's Day just around the corner, so don't get flowers that die in a week. Give the gift that she'll cherish for a lifetime, and it will last a lifetime. Steven Singer's brand new creamsicle 24-karat gold dip rose. Go to IHateStevenSinger.com today. That's IHateStevenSinger.com today to order with fast and free shipping and a free personalized love note and free lifetime guarantee. Don't wait. They always sell out, and Mother's Day is early this year. See the entire collection starting at $59. That's right, just $59 for something that will last a lifetime. Only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Without further ado, let's jump on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, ladies and gentlemen. Talk to our good friend Tom Moore as he breaks down everything when it comes to the 76ers and what they got going on in this particular series here as they go for the sweep, that is. They go for the sweep of that Toronto Raptors team. I'm already looking at the comments and looking forward to the chat check. Let's get to our friend Tom Moore, ladies and gentlemen. And joining us right now, the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line from the Bucks County Courier-Times, columnist extraordinaire, Mr. Tom Moore, joins the show. What's up, Tom?
Hey, Mark, how are you? I hear you have a new favorite store.
I'm hooked. I got to say, I did not grow up in a Costco household. We had a Sam's Club membership for like 20 seconds, and that was it. And we just stopped going. But I'm telling you, good God, Costco has blown me away. The wedge of Pecorino Romano Locatelli is amazing. If I would have told my late Aunt Angie that, her head would have exploded. She wouldn't be able to wrap her head around it. I loved my first trip to Costco. I said earlier, what they're missing is a lazy river. That's it. They're missing a lazy river and maybe a humidor full of cigars. That's it. Other than that, I don't need to go anywhere else.
Yeah, we were talking before we started, taping this for 10 minutes, literally about Costco. And I'm giving recommendations and saying how we are equidistant from the Warminster Costco as we are the North Wales Costco. And I guess we're getting old that we get excited about these things.
We're dadding. Yeah, we're dadding hard.
It would have been seriously real. Really, who cares?
No, Tom, you literally told me. I won't give away your little insider tip there because I don't want to ruin it. But you literally told me about a great little batteries. Batteries are a great place for. I wrote it down, people.
Nice.
I wrote
Stuff to look for going forward.
I was dadding out so hard because I wanted to buy this backpack cooler that was like $40. And if I would have bought it, I didn't. I refrained. I showed some restraint. But
keep your eye on it. It might be $3 off, like in June or something. Then you can justify it because it's on sale.
This is the best. Yeah. I am so pleasantly surprised, but you throw in that lazy river and I'll be there all the time. Tom, it's great to have you on. First off, I want to react to a couple of the big stories in the basketball world. Let's start it off with Villanova. You've obviously followed them covered them, covered Jay Wright for a long time. Any hint, any nugget that you saw this coming? Anything to lead you to believe that Jay Wright would step away right now at this point in time? Anything that led you to believe that, or were you just as shocked as everybody else?
Yeah, not at all. Not 60 and in great health, and kids are out of college, and all that stuff. It seemed very happy and is engaged, with us and friendly and just good to deal with and stuff like that. But I guess at a certain point you say, I've kind of done everything I wanted to do, and I understand he doesn't want to coach in the NBA. He had such a good deal at Villanova. I just can't imagine he would go anywhere else, because he basically had a job for life there, with all the success he's had, 21 years. The first 3 years, he was actually 52 and 46, but from the fourth year on, he's had just an unbelievable, run. 630 win seasons. Not last 9 years, they either won the Big East regular season or the tournament. Since since the Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt left and all that stuff,
right.
In the new look Big East, but just an unbelievable success rate, and just the way he got his team, the small ball, 3 guards, didn't like big guys. Everybody steps back and, shoots a lot of threes, and, just grit and toughness and hustle and work. And it's hard not to admire the program, even if I'm a Syracuse guy. So Syracuse and Villanova were, rivals. And it almost took a little bit early on, but that was Rolly Massimino. That was sort of another era, but it's really hard not to, respect at the very least and admire most likely, everything that, that he did. So totally shocked. I'm sitting down to write a column on the Sixers game, and then I'm getting Teams messages. Can you do something on Villanova? And get it online ASAP. I'm like, what about Sixers? Well, you can do something on that later. Yeah. So that was a fun night.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was. I did not envy you fine writers on a night like that. That's for sure. So let me ask you this, because you mentioned the NBA. Well, let's honor the man a little further. When you think of Jay Wright, the man and the coach, what jumps to mind immediately about him?
Well, I think just how really. Let's say this year, when Justin Moore suffers that terrible injury, and he goes over and he's sitting with Justin Moore, with his arm around him, like he knows what it means to these guys and how important it is. And Colin Gillespie did the same thing, because he had an injury, that cost him, the postseason last year. It was one of the reasons he came back for a fifth year. But I think just very incredibly competitive, but also very compassionate and very respectful of and understanding of what his guys are going through. You know what I mean? Like, he gets it. He played basketball. He was an assistant coach. He's been through it all. He's, he understands. I did a story actually when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. I talked to one of his high school buddies, Mike Mikulski at Council Rock, and he sent me a photo. And Jay, it's his graduation night, has one of those like white. Those, remember, they were really popular back then. They almost, I don't know what they're called, but they're little like almost like beads. The necklaces that were super popular back in the late 70s, early 80s. I don't know what the name is.
Not the puka shells. Were they the puka shells?
I'm not even sure. And he's got the real thin mustache, Jay. It was priceless. Like the photo, the story didn't even matter, but the photo was like all you had to, look at.
You mentioned the NBA, so let me ask you this question. What is more likely? Jay Wright coaches in the NBA, or Jay Wright is a bouncer at Costco at the door? What's more likely for him in the future?
It depends. You know what? It depends how much his wife Patty likes Costco and what the discount is, probably. How about that?
That's what I need. I need to walk around at Costco while I'm carrying around a 5-pound thing of mayonnaise, bump into Jay Wright and his lovely wife. That's great. No, but as a Temple guy, I wish him nothing but an enjoyable retirement for sure. For sure. Hey, this Sixers basketball team, Tom Moore, is all of a sudden on the precipice of possibly sweeping the Toronto Raptors. And I saw this in your latest story with the Bucks County Courier-Times here, and I saw this right here on your Twitter as well. Sixers haven't swept a 7-game playoff series since 1985, the Eastern Conference semifinals. Charles Barkley's rookie year. Say what? This is insane. I looked it up.
I knew it had been a while. Now they did win in 91. They beat the Bucks 3-0 in the first round when it was best of 5.
Right.
Barkley had suffered a ligament injury late in the regular season and missed like the last 3 games of the regular season. And we weren't sure. He played with a brace, but they won, swept, and then lost to Jordan and the Bulls in 5 games. That was when Mahorn was there. And they lost to Jordan, the Bulls in 5 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And that was the first of Jordan's 6 titles. And they've been swept twice in that time. They were swept by the Celtics in the bubble, 4-0 in the first round. And they were swept in the second round in 99, which was the first year Larry Brown was at the playoffs in the second round by Reggie Miller and the Pacers. So there haven't been a lot of sweeps, but I'm trying to think. I've covered teams since 88, and I didn't remember and them sweeping anybody best of 7. So, I looked it up on one of the things, and I'm like, holy crap, 37 years. I mean, they haven't had a lot of chances, and they're actually 1-10 in the second round since 85. The only win was in 2001. Now, the thing is, they only had home court advantage. I think one time they lost, and that was obviously last year when they had the best record and they lost Atlanta in the second round. So they've always had to, win the extra road game, and usually they've lost, well, obviously with Toronto 3 years ago, and, they've lost a couple of 7-game series with the Celtics when Doug Collins was there and Doc Rivers was, I think it was 2012. Doc Rivers was coaching the Celtics. They lost in 7 games, game 7 in Boston. So, yeah, I knew that they didn't have many sweeps, and I know they certainly haven't had a lot of second round success, but boy, I mean, I picked the 7. I thought it was going to be a really long series, and, they dominated game 1, but then winning game 2 fairly handily, and then to overcome that dreadful first half down 17. And I mean, they got punched in the mouth, and Embiid's turning the ball over, and Harden's turning the ball over, and Embiid's very passive in the first half. He had 5 points and 4 turnovers in the first half. Like that, that's crazy for him. But they kind of weathered the storm. We're only down 10 at the half, and beat at a big third quarter, and then kind of hung in there and, found a way to win. I mean, that was really impressive, because that's the old definition of kind of stealing one. Like, on merit, they never led in regulation. They did not lead in the 48 minutes. They didn't lead to overtime. But you only have to lead once, really.
Yeah.
It was very impressive. I expect, Saturday for, to me, the X factor is Scotty Barnes. I'm sure he's going to try to play after missing the last 2, but, how will the ankle be? What will we be able to contribute? Because teams hate to be swept. I mean, it's like a badge of honor. I mean, no NBA team has ever come from down 3-0 to win a 7-game series. I think only 3 have forced a game 7. But no team likes to be swept. It's always, a matter, of pride. And they don't like to lose on their home court. They don't like to be eliminated in the home court. So the 2 of them, I would expect Toronto to come out the same way, aggressive, physical. They were knocking down shots, and it was like a barrage. I'm writing the Jay Wright thing and watching here, and, but yeah, and I think, I think Doc Rivers has done a heck of a job. He's gotten a lot of criticism.
I was just going to ask you.
I mean, game 1, the adjustments he made, and then calling that timeout late, when with the ball in the corner there, when Embiid got trapped in overtime, and then calling that play, and, it worked, and Embiid knocks down that 3-pointer, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. He's gotten a lot of criticism, and some of them may be warranted, but he seems like he's pushing the right buttons. He only played 8 guys in game 3. With no Thibault. The starters all played 44 minutes or more, except for Harden, and he would have, except he fouled out late in regulation. So that's not sustainable long term. But Thibault would be available at any, games other than in Toronto, so that would help in terms of having a wing who can, contribute some minutes.
Certainly. There has been some sort of about face that we've talked a lot about on this show with Doc Rivers when it comes to the rougher practices leading up to the playoffs, not calling fouls, Danny Green being in the starting five from jump of this series, not switching it back and forth with Thibault, the timeout you just mentioned. It seems like he is kind of, from the outsider's perspective, I thought he kind of lost control of the situation with the Sixers. It's rare you see a coach kind of take it back.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, he did that with Green late in the regular season. And I think it makes sense because, you don't want Green starting games 1 and 2, Thibault starting games 1 and 2, and then Green starting games 3 and 4. The guys like to know their roles. They like to have sort of consistent, they know, all right, I'm going to play the first, Harden's going to play the first 6 or 7 minutes and then come out and then come back in like with a minute and a half to go in the first quarter and replace Maxey. You know what I mean? And then Embiid plays the whole first quarter, and then Reed replaces him, or Jordan going forward, whatever it is. Guys like to have a consistent role like that. And when everything, obviously foul trouble when things change, but if you start Thibault, it's just very different than if you start Green. And Green's got experience, shoots that corner three pretty well. Isn't, as athletic as he was 3 years ago, 34,
right.
But he still gives them a lot. He was really angry during the game. He got a technical and they calmed him down. It was very unusual for him. Like he's normally the guy calming other guys down. It was so Harden's, pushing him and calming him down. Like that was
Maxey's pushing him too. Yeah.
Right.
Everybody.
Yeah, somebody elbowed him. I think somebody said he didn't talk after the game, but somebody elbowed him, but he was really mad. And that's not usually the way he is.
Mm. Certainly. What adjectives are you on at this point? Do you open up a thesaurus to describe Joel Embiid's play? Like, how do you do it now? I don't know. I don't have to write words every day when it comes to a guy like him. How do you describe how great he is? But here's what I know. I don't think he's getting MVP this year, and I think that's unfortunate. But this guy just plays, I'm going to go ahead to this one. I don't think I've used this one. Miraculous basketball. That's what I have seen from Joel Embiid as of late.
Yeah, really, really incredible. And the shot before the one he hit was like a foul line extended sort of fade turnaround. Like, he makes these shots that are tough shots for athletic 6'6" guys, and he does it as a 7-footer, and his footwork and his touch are so good, that was incredible. That shot, anybody doing that, and Rivers drew it up to be a long 2, but Embiid said he likes that spot and he felt comfortable coming over to the ball even more. So it was a 3, got the ball and turned, and knocked it down. Didn't hit any, just swished it. But yeah, he's probably, from the sounds of it, from the voters and so on, it's going to be Jokic. And I don't see Jokic. He's a great, and the Greek freak Antetokounmpo, he had an unbelievable year. And the game he had against the Sixers where they beat him and he blocked Embiid's shot late where they won, that you could make a case for him too. It's just different. John Nash, the former Sixers GM, always used to say MVP stands for most victories produced. So I always thought it was for a team. Now the Sixers have finished 4th, so they didn't win the East or anything like that, but they won the East last year, and Embiid only played in 70%, of the games, which is probably why he didn't win it last year. But he's got a lot, Jokic has a lot of good analytic numbers and a lot of, he's a very good passer. He does a lot of things really well. Isn't the factor defensively, and is not having nearly as good a postseason as Embiid is. But, there's not a whole lot, I guess, you can do about that. It was interesting. You probably saw Markelle Fultz a few days ago saying about the process, and they're not going to, he called into the sports talk station Orlando and said they're not going to reward anybody from the process.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some people think that. I really don't know. And I didn't have a vote, and all three are deserving. I mean, you can make a case for all three.
Sure, yeah.
The ones that say, "Oh, Jokic, doesn't deserve it," that's not true. And the same with Antetokounmpo, But seeing Embiid all the time, it's also hard because you appreciate so many little things that you get to see if you watch them regularly. Whereas if you see them 8 times on national TV a season, you miss a lot.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, a lot of the voters look at that head-to-head matchup with Joker, and they look at the head-to-head matchup with Giannis. I'm not saying it's fair. I think that's one of the things they really focus on. Let's talk about another star in this lineup. I'm trying to find out exactly, not just for this series, not just for this playoff run, but for the future as well, where James Harden is at. Is he anything close to 100%? Is this 100%, but his version of 100% right now at this age? Or is it still the hamstring bother him? Where are you at when deciding what the future holds for James Harden?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a really good question. He's 32. He says it's fine. He's, you see he wears the leggings just on that leg, I guess, to keep it warm. He says it's fine. Doc Rivers says it's fine. He certainly doesn't have the explosiveness that he used to that helped make him such a factor. When he gets in the lane, he has trouble if there's multiple defenders or traffic. He has trouble sort of maneuvering and getting in, whereas before he used to just go right through and do that. I wrote something actually after game 1 that, he's really running the team extremely well and as a point guard initiator, doing really well. And they might be able to get through this series that way. But eventually, and probably in the next round, assuming, Miami's up 2-0 going into game 3 in Atlanta, Friday night, eventually they're going to need him to score and be more of a factor. Maxi's been scoring like crazy and Tobias Harrison playing really well, but eventually they're going to need Harden to take and make big shots if they're going to get past Miami, and then the next round would be like Milwaukee, let's say, or Boston, whatever it is. They're gonna need him to be productive, and maybe he can do it. I don't know. He hasn't done it much. The 3-point shooting, he's always been sort of a streak shooter there. That's not a big difference, but it's more the explosiveness. You just hope it's not like he's sort of losing it on the downward spiral, kind of like happened with Iverson late in his career. And when he lost that explosiveness, his whole game changed because he couldn't beat everybody off the dribble and they could kind of play him more honest. And he was never a great jump shooter, kind of like Harden, both MVPs, both, Hall of Famers, great players. But when you lose your calling card, your biggest attribute, you have to change the way you play. And defenses know that. And it makes it tougher to get those easy shots and get those, drives to the rim that you used to be able to drop in easily.
Let me say that we never celebrate injury, obviously, but it's starting to look a little bit more wide open in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference right now, depending on what's going down with Devin Booker with the Suns. I had Kurt Heelan on the show last week, a national writer for NBC Sports, talked about how he thought the Suns were the team to run away with it. Now that might not be the case. Now you're also looking at Chris Middleton. Middleton got an injury in the East. So it looks like things could be wide open now for the 76ers. What do you think their potential is? What potential do you think they can reach when it comes to going through the playoffs this year?
Yeah, it's so hard because they're capable of winning the East or at least getting to the conference finals. But as we said, Harden's going to need to score. They're going to need more consistent production from the bench. Who's going to be the center in the next round? Is it going to still be Paul Reed, who's more athletic and quick and can switch? Will he go back to DeAndre Jordan, who may be done, but is a bigger, more natural center? George Niang is a very good offensive player, but like this series, there's nobody he can guard on the Raptors. The only thing he should do if he gets matched up with Siakam or whatever, just yell the word help, because there's nothing he can do. I mean, they have all these long, lean, quick guys. And so a lot of it is matchups. Shake Milton, he's the only little guy that's been playing. The only guard who's been playing with a tighter bench. Danny Green didn't shoot well the first game, but, had shot better the last two. There's a lot of things. Can Maxey maintain this high level, scoring 20 plus a night? Tobias Harris has played really well, especially at the defensive end. So you're going to be able to keep doing, and these are all things they're going to need if they're going to, make a long run. Like I said, I've covered teams since '88. I've only covered one team that got past the second round in all that time. And I mean, they made the playoffs almost half the years, but they usually are lower seed and they lose to a higher seed in 5 games or 6 games or 7 games. So last year, everything looked like it was set up. And, they lost 3 out of 4 at home to Atlanta. This year, not as much, but, I don't think Miami has the look of the 2 years ago when they went to the finals in the bubble. I mean, I think real good. And I think Spoelstra is an excellent coach, but it's a series the Sixers could win if they do things, really well. Obviously, Butler's a problem, and Adebayo and Embiid is a really interesting matchup because he's a little smaller, but he's very athletic and quick and switches on defense and so on. So, I mean, that would be a really, really good series. I would think.
I'll look forward to that one. And I hope that we get that one just as fans of the game. Tom Moore, always great talking to you, man. Appreciate you coming on. Make sure you guys follow Tom Moore on social media, especially Twitter for the Bucks County Courier-Times and Gannett USA Today as well, a columnist extraordinaire. Tom, always great talking to you. And maybe you could show me, maybe if you take me under your wing at Costco, I can really find the deals better because I need that tutelage, my friend.
I gave you some Cliff's notes. It's places to start with, and you can go from there.
Pages of Cliff Notes, my friend. Pages. Tom Moore, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us
for having me.
Thank you, my friend. Tom Moore on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. How great was that? Tom Moore, the amazing Tom Moore, as per usual. And yeah, again, PJ's out today, so it's just me pushing buttons. And I don't know what any of these do. Let me do that one. Okay, cool. I just didn't take myself off the show. That's good. All right, coming up, the chat check. I appreciate Tom Moore joining. But real quick, I failed to reference that earlier. The cheese at Costco. Let me explain something to you. If you do the Kraft mac and not the Kraft mac and cheese, but the Kraft Parmesan cheese, right? And it's the little green cylinder, right? I'm out. That's sawdust. Okay, I'm not eating that. That's not happening. I'm not an elitist, but there's one particular thing that I just have to have, and that's Locatelli Pecorino Romano. This is how I was raised. And my late Aunt Angie, who was like my grandmother, I love her so much. She's amazing. She would put the wedge of the Locatelli Pecorino Romano on the table and the cheese grater. The cheese grater was always fun for if one of my cousins or whatever brought a date to dinner, to sit down at the table, watching them try to figure that out. It was hilarious. But anyway, that thing was like a little wedge of cheese, and that usually runs between $8 and $10 for this little wedge of cheese. At Costco, oh my God, it was like a slice of pizza. It was ginormous. And that was $12. I was like, this alone is worth the trip. And the best part was my wife, she we were separated at one point, and at Costco, not in our marriage. And when she goes and she does whatever, and then she comes back and she goes, look what I got. And she holds up this huge wedge of Locatelli Pecorino Romano. And I'm just looking at it I can't wait to see the price of it. Because I'm like, oh, that is, we'll take out a loan just for that huge block of cheese. Nope, $12. I had to tell a lady at checkout. She goes, oh, what's this? I go, oh, let me tell you, that's the best possible thing you could put on any type of pasta, pizza, whatever it is, the absolute best. So hopefully she's somewhere right now enjoying that pizza, or pasta, whatever it might be, with the Pecorino Romano Locatelli. Mwah! Anyway, let me tell you about the great people at Rothman Orthopaedics who bring us our guests each and every day. When you have an orthopedic issue, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physicians only focuses in on one area of the body, which means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. Visit RothmanOrtho.com for more information. That's RothmanOrtho.com. How about the great people at WinView? WinView is the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the bigger sports fan? Have those friends and family members who think they know everything about sports? Challenge them to a WinView contest. See if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. Download the WinView app to your phone right now and have some fun with the NBA playoffs going on right now. You can win real money prizes for making predictions of the games that you love so much. But remember, WinView is not a sports book, not daily fantasy, social gaming app where fans can take on other fans. So download the WinView app right now. PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. This is going to be a good time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump into the chat check, and let's do this once again. Hold on, let me get to the top of this. Come on, please. There we go. One Guapo. Good morning, Guapo. See what we have here? They're popping up on the screen. See, what we usually do is I send my signal to PJ, and PJ puts my signal out to the world. So I can't beep, bop, bop, beep, bop, bop, bop. I can't push buttons. I got nothing. But when I'm controlling the show, I can do that. Clay, good morning, Clay. What's happening? What's going on? John Cheeseborough, I'll put you up again. Say good morning to the rest of the good people. There we are. Clay, hello again. The big cheese. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Never going to Costco again? Why not, brah? John, what happened? Oh, because they don't have a lazy river, maybe? Let's see what we got here. Never had to worry about going to Costco. There are none anywhere near me. Clay, I am sorry. I am sorry to hear that. My wife and I went to Costco in King of Prussia once, and one of the employees was basically acting like a gatekeeper at the door. And out of everybody coming, he only asked us if we had a membership. The worst, John. Not you, him. Or her. I don't know. I didn't see the gatekeeper. Taz, I agree with this. How about Joker carrying his team to a win against Golden State? I roll. Did I act that out well with all the emojis? MVP my ass. Here's a little. Maybe you guys can help me with this with my marriage real quick. That's always a fun way to start a comment. My wife refers to our kids' butts as Buckies. How's your, is your Bucky hurt? Something like that. And I'll say your ace. Who's the better parent? I think I am. It's all because I wasn't raised in the city, so I think I'm just trying to assimilate them to city life as quickly as possible. Let's see here. Alyssa says, good morning, Alyssa. Hello, Alyssa. Sixers correspondent, Alyssa. What's going on? Mike Fuji, what's up, buddy? Hola, Friday. Friday? Fuji dropping a Friday? There you go, Fuji. Hello to everybody. There we go. That's just nice. John saying hi to Alyssa. See, this is what I see. This is what I see. And then you guys see too. What am I saying? It's not like a private thing. Fuji saying hello to everybody. That's nice. Clay. Oh, here we go. Good God. JJAW has pictures of Howie. The only reason why Howie keeps this bum to justify an early round pick. Yes, that is most likely the situation. I do not disagree. However, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be optimistic about this and say that this is going to work okay. Jim Grassmeter. So now JJAW can suck at two positions. Is free safety next? You give it time. You give it time. Alyssa saying hi to Cheese and Fuji. That's nice. Clay, 1985. Jesus, I was a sophomore in high school. Clay, you don't even want to know how old I was in 1985. But I wasn't high school. I'll say that. I'll say it. I was 3. But Clay, welcome in. Nice to have you. Alyssa, I wasn't even alive in 1985. 1985. I was just telling, I forget who I was telling the other day about, like, just the 80s, man. Like, because I was born in 82, I look at it like that was a mythical time. Like, everything was larger than life. I'm a little kid. What I do remember is, like, being in kindergarten. And I remember all the 8th grade girls. I went to a Catholic school that was K to 8. And I remember all the girls just had wild hair, like huge, puffy, out to everywhere, wild, crazy, puffy hair. And then we still have, at that time, we lived in Rochester, New York. We had moved from Ambler to Rochester for a couple of years. And I remember like the yearbook. And I remember flipping through the yearbook much later in life, like maybe when I was in college, like we found the yearbook of my parents. And I remember looking back and be like, oh my God, I remember like these hairstyles. Like I remember my friends in kindergarten, both my years of kindergarten for the record. And then I remember like the 8th grade girls had the huge hair. There you go. Oh boy. All right. I'm looking at the wrong chat now. Now the right chat, just not the one I can control here. There we go. John Cheesebro, that's a crazy stat. Almost as crazy as the Raptors being 0-4 or 0-5 when Anunoby scores 18 points. I didn't see that stat. That's interesting. I still can't get over the Anunoby foul on. I think it was Harden in the paint in the early goings of the third quarter where I was like, oh yeah, maybe the Sixers will get some calls now. No, not happening. John, 1985. I was only. I wasn't. Let's see here. All right, I'll keep going here. Let's see here. Oh, I just like this. Hey, Clay. Oh, come on. Oh, Sean Gillespie. What's up, Sean? Good morning. Nice to have you. John Cheeseborough. Allah is a treasure, and PJ must be protected. Yeah, PJ must be protected. No more days off for that guy. Tell you that much. Allah, the pride of Bloomfield High? Really? I did not know that. Played for my grandfather. Oh, Alyssa, your grandfather was a basketball coach? That's pretty cool. High school basketball coach, nonetheless. There you go. Alyssa told Allah via Twitter that profile pic is an elite move. I like that. That's very good. Sean Gillespie, oops, 1985 freshman year, younger Clay. Still got it. There you go. Oof. Costco is the way to go. Is the way tomorrow. Goo. Laugh out loud. What? Mike Fuji, what are you saying? Are you going to Costco tomorrow? Here's what somebody did tell me on social media. On Twitter, they hit me up and they said, oh, you got to go on the weekend and get the free samples. As much as I enjoyed my time at Costco, I went there on a Thursday morning at like 11 o'clock. That's my time. With the last 15 years doing shows and stuff, the weird hours of my life, I am an off hours person. You won't see me 9 o'clock or 8:30 driving anywhere. You're not going to see me at a grocery store on a Friday evening at 6 o'clock. You're not going to see me peak hours anywhere. Like I am a homebody during those times. I'm an off hours guy. That place on a weekend, I told the person on social media, my personal hell. Just dealing with other people's problems. I'm picturing people pulling 2 grocery carts, a flatbed. They got a flatbed. People can push around and load up. That's my personal hell. No, thank you. Like when I'm at the grocery store, for instance, like the regular grocery store I go to, I always bag. You know why? Because it speeds up the process. It helps everybody. I always bag my own stuff. At Costco, I had to say to the lady, what can I do to help? She looked at me, God bless her, and she goes, nothing. Do nothing. And I was like, the guilt-free, not helping. My favorite. She was a sweetie pie. Hopefully she really enjoyed the local telly tip I gave her. But anyway, yeah, that place would be my personal hell on that. Ooh, Clay is saying that the 80s were the best possible decade ever. Best decade ever. I was looking for maybe you guys can help me out. Ooh, I should have done this earlier. What is the song? I want to say it's an 80s rock band. And I don't know the name of the song. I don't even know the lyrics. I just know that it's like Rio, Rio, oh, Rio, Rio. What is that? I've had that stuck in my head. I've had the wrong words most likely. Don't know the band. Don't know the era. Pretty sure it's the 80s. But I was looking up 80s rock bands, and they all had this crazy hair. Oh, my God, the 80s were a time, man. I wish I got to experience them more as an adult. Sean knows the deal. Big hair in the 80s. Kevin, what's up, Kevin? Say good morning, everybody. Hey, look what I get to do. Put me up. Hi, handsome fella. There we go. PJ's off today. Yep, that's me saying that, and that's me putting it up there. Damn right. Clay wants J Red as a bouncer at Costco. There you go. Sean Gillespie, Jay Wright would gently escort you out and call you a cab. You're damn right he would. Oh, Jim, thanks. I always like talking to my man Tom Moore. That's nice. Alyssa, hello again. Maybe JJAW. Oh, here's an idea. Jim Grassmeter. Maybe JJAW could take Thibault's spot on the roster tomorrow night, huh? Guard, maybe a 2 guard be his next spot, his next position. You never know. Farzy in the small box really looked like he creeped in to see if something was going on without him. Pretty much. I know what you're talking about. At some point in the interview with Tom Moore, I hit the wrong button. Go figure. And I appeared over here, I think. Yeah, over here. And I was like looking at the interview for a second. Daniel Schwartz. Wow, Dan, in the small chat, I can never see what your avatar is, but now I see it. It says Howie Blows. Overslept again 2 times this week. Haven't done it in years before this. I think Tom Moore get me high in my sleep and I couldn't wake up. Got me high in my sleep, I couldn't wake up. Or in my mind, I didn't want to wake up without PJ. You know what? Yeah, one of them Johns. Wait, I don't understand this. Wait, Mark. You don't eat liquid gold Velveeta? Steven Singer definitely eats liquid gold, and it lasts forever. It's a good lifetime guarantee. Yeah, we weren't big on the Velveeta cheeses as a family growing up and whatnots. Yeah. T-Bro, what's up, T-Bro? Farzy insider tip, Kirkland paper towels better than Bounty. I'll compare and contrast. Mullet, what coffee beans do you use? Random barista banter. I use beans from Grand Cafe L'Aquila in Center City. They are world-renowned by a world-renowned roaster, and I get the Napoli bean. That's great for espresso. That's all I buy, literally. In a pinch, I'll get like Illy somewhere. But on trips, I think I told you guys this before, I'll bring my travel espresso maker. It's a hand pump, basically. Yeah, you heard me. Wait, is that a Bill Cosby impression, Farzy? Man of many talents? Whoa, when did I do a Bill Cosby impression? Sean, when was the Bill Cosby impression? Because first off, to answer the question, yes, I do a Bill Cosby impression. But not since, not since things have come about regarding the cause. Sean, Bucky? Question mark. You are the better parent, Farzy. Delete this episode. Save your marriage. Tom Moore is like the Tooth Fairy, says Tom Moore, or says Dan Schwartz on Tom Moore. Tom Moore is like the Tooth Fairy, but he puts weed under your pillow and steals junk food. So we hate Mike Sealski, and Tom Moore's a stoner. That's what we get out of this program. Oh, this is interesting. I looked up Rio by Duran Duran. It was one of the first ones to come out there. No, it's not that one. Is Baltimore Tarzan Boy? I don't know. Blame it on Rio? This must be a permanent feature on Chet Check, yeah. Oh, Dan Schwartz. Only 80s song you need to worry about is Take On Me by Aha. Epic. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, when you want to, if you want to see me dance like a fiend, you play Take On Me by Aha. That's it. And I don't think there's another music video out there. See, kids, a music video. No, I don't think there's a music video out there more so that makes me sit and watch the entire thing more so than in the very rare occasion a music video is on TV than Aha's Take On Me. I watch that. Like, if it's on DVR and I miss the beginning, I go back and I watch the beginning. Like, that music video to me is fantastic. She gets back, she's flipping through the comic book. Oh, God, what happened to him? What happened to him? This is a perfect reenactment of what happens in the Take On Me thing. And then, boom, it's against the wall. Boom, it's against the other wall. Boom, it's against the other wall. And then, he's on the ground. He looks up. That's peak 80s right there, man. Peak 80s. Guy chasing him with a wrench. All right, that's enough of my Aha obsession. Howie clearly celebrates 420. Feel lucky my prime wonder years were spent in the 80s. There you go. Blame it on Rio. Blame it on Rio. I'm going to try that. Let's see that. Blame on Rio. I'm going to try to find this song. What else? There's some other Self-Control. Okay, that's good. Self-Control. What was the name of that lady? Laura Branigan. Okay. There you go. Yeah, real time. It's a hand pump. You heard me. And it's definitely phallic looking. I will just say that, okay? Works great. Works great. You were making some strange sounds, Farzy? Oh, okay. Hey, giggity. What's Jim got? I can't even see this unless I put it up. Farzy Show, Self-Control by Laura. Self-Control by Laura Branigan. Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. That's the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate all you fine people for hitting us up on the chat check. Let's get into our morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Phillies back on the field today against the Brewers tonight. You know who's coming back to town tonight in South Philadelphia? Tell you right now on the chat check, brought to you by Sky Motorcars. Phillies Brewers means Andrew McCutchen is coming back to South Philadelphia. After spending the last 3 years in Philadelphia as the left fielder of the Phillies, he returns. He's hitting .250 on the season, which is actually the best batting average on the Milwaukee Brewers. And did I just see, did he just get plunked? I think he just got plunked. Uncle Larry looked pretty heated. I will say, I interviewed Andrew McCutchen one time on when I was at the Fanatic, and he stayed in Uncle Larry character for 9 minutes. And I know it was 9 minutes because I was thinking after 2 minutes, we need to talk to Andrew McCutchen now. And I remember trying to segue him into Andrew McCutchen. He wouldn't do it. He wanted to stay in character. And he did for nearly 10 minutes. And I give him a lot of credit for that. Sixers complete the sweep. I'll say it. They'll complete the sweep of the Toronto Raptors Saturday, 2:00 tip-off in Toronto. And they'll put a button on that one, put a bow on that one, and finish that one up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure as per usual, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the show today, participating in the chat check and all that. Before I go, I gotta acknowledge something here. Sid Mark, legendary, historic icon of a broadcaster, passed away this week. You guys know him from Sundays with Sinatra, Fridays with Frank, on the radio in Philadelphia, nationally syndicated to over 1 million people across the country. I had the great fortune of meeting Sid Mark a couple of different times, and each time he was more gracious than the last. My personal Sid Mark story is that when I was a promotions director at WIP, which was a year, side note, worst job ever. When I had an office, and my office was completely decked out. No kidding. Like always, I'm surrounded. Like, can you see this? Is Frank Sinatra at a slot machine, right? I think that's Eleanor Roosevelt in the back, but I feel like that'd be acknowledged. But anyway, like I just got Sinatra memorabilia around at all times. In my office here, I got over there, I got Ocean's 11 stuff. I got a bunch of Sinatra stuff. You guys can probably see it later. But anyway, I've shown it before. My office at WIP was a Sinatra Rat Pack themed office. Like it was everything. So they would have meetings from time to time down at WIP because WPHT, where they did Sundays with Sinatra and Fridays with Frank with Sid Mark, was right above us. It was on the next floor. So if Sid Mark had to come down and wait for a meeting a couple of times, they put him in my office to wait for the meeting. And I remember the first time I came downstairs and Jill Speckman, who was the office manager at WIP, awesome lady, programming assistant, she said, you're not going to believe who's in your office. And I go, who's in my office? And she goes, Sid Mark. And I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, Sid Mark's in your office. He's waiting for a meeting. And we figured what better place to put him in than your office that's got Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Joey Bishop, Frank Sinatra all over the place. What better place to put him? I go, you're damn right what better place to put him. So I scurry on back there like an excited little teenager. And he was gone. He was already in the meeting. So I was like, damn, I can't believe I missed Sid Mark. So later I had to go to the boss's office that day, maybe an hour or so later. And I go into the boss's office and who's sitting there but Sid Mark? And I finally get to meet Sid Mark. And he was just the sweetest man. He was exactly what you would want him to be. This nice man that you felt like for years was in the car ride with you and your parents as they drove you around. They had Sinatra on. He was exactly that guy that you felt like you could sit in the living room and he was already in there and he was sitting on a lounge chair and Sinatra was playing and you could just have a conversation with. That's like what's so personal about when you do any type of broadcast is that you don't know what people are physically, like actually doing or, mentally going through. And you don't know at what time you're reaching them. And Sid Mark absolutely had that kind of gift where he was someone you wanted along for the ride if you were in the car. You wanted in the living room if you were listening to Sundays with Sinatra while you're getting ready for a big Sunday dinner or something like that. He will be missed greatly. And I am proud to say and honored to say that I got to meet him a couple of times, and he was just beyond gracious. And you never know who's following you on social media either and who sees your stuff. And I put out a quick little blurb just about what a great guy he was and how much he'll be missed and the legend and icon that he is. And sure enough, his son responded, just saying thanks for the kind words. You never know who you're reaching, and it's funny because I think of Sid Mark a lot when I think about that. You don't know who you're reaching because I know a lot of people tell a similar story of having him on in the car or, cooking, getting ready for that dinner, and Sid Mark's playing, Sinatra's playing. And I bastardize a line that ended every one of the Sundays with Sinatra or Fridays with Frank whenever I give a toast. And it's the Sinatra line. At the end of the show, you hear, I wish you everything you want in life for your friends and your family, lots of hugging and kissing and sweet dreams. And that's what ends the show. Fridays with Frank, Sundays with Sinatra. And Sid Mark would always say, I love you, Frank. And then you'd hear Sinatra say, I love you too, Sidney. It's just something I'll have forever. Thanks to Sid Mark. Thanks to Sid Mark's family for sharing him with us for all those years. My name is Marc Farzetta. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we'll watch the Sixers complete the sweep of the Raptors. From the Steven Singer Studios is the Farzy Show presented by Destination Retirement, destinationretirement.com. Have a great weekend. Hey, he wasn't here today, but you know what? He's here every other day. Jim Hyden produced the program. It's a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take it easy.